have a question, Stuart.
Yes.
First, I just wanted to share. Sometimes the energy is so beautiful, it feels my physical body can't hold it. So thank you.
No, you're welcome.
My question is about when you have conflict with someone and when it happens in the moment. And so I'm experiencing a few days later, I still feel the unresolved residue of that conflict. Could you please give a step by step with putting it in the hara, how to do that when it happens in the moment and then when you're still sort of dealing with it?
Well, Paula, look, I speak about this all the time. You have conflict with somebody, it's unresolved, you are not strong enough to deal with it in that particular moment. It's your teacher. So instead of looking at it as some negative thing, all right, this is what I have to learn. I need to build an inner life that is stronger. I need to grow. I haven't arrived yet where I can deal with that kind of situation. So this is not negative. It is teaching you that you need to truly work in a greater depth on yourself. That person in his own or her own strange way is doing you a favor, reminding you, hey, you got a lot of growth that needs to take place inside yourself. So don't be angry at them. One way of beginning to resolve it is seeing it this way and be grateful to them. Doesn't mean you got to hang out with them, you got to even interact with them. But in your heart, there is forgiveness. And at least a bit of thank you to the person, because their presence, whatever took place in that moment, is just a reminder that you haven't arrived yet. You need to do more work on yourself. And that is truly a healthy approach to this. Otherwise, you get angry, you get bitter, you hold on to it, and it tears you apart, sometimes for months and years, these situations. But one little thing of, okay, thank you for teaching me about what I need to learn. Now I'm going to learn it. And you certainly can use this meditation as a way of learning it, of consciously using whatever, the tools you have to build inside yourself a system that is strong enough to deal with these kinds of moments. We all have them. I have them. Everyone has them. Years ago, they would upset me for months. Now it's like, all right, I haven't arrived yet. I can apologize. I can say thank you. I can, not say anything, but feel all of this in my heart. And then do something about it. I hope that's clear,
Thank you, Stuart. Thank you.
You're welcome, dear. Good to see you back. It's been a long time. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? I mean, I don't know anybody who doesn't have situations like that. Suddenly you turn around and bam, something happens. It could be with your parents, your children, your brothers, your sisters, your relatives, on the job. And most people are a composite of hundreds of those kind of things that they have never learned to work through. The biggest one is with our parents. We seem to think our parents are supposed to be, gods living on the earth, but they're just human beings. They make mistakes. They make mistakes. And then we hold that, we're angry, we're bitter, and then it really tears our lives apart. I mean, most people, you meet a 40-year-old person and they're like, emotionally, they're 7 years old. They never grew past, the stuff that was done to them when they were 7, So the whole purpose of this work is to get free of that. It's to truly get free of that. being strong enough that you can move on. I mean, I wrote a book of aphorisms, you know, it was like 100 of them or something, and moving on, finding happiness in a changed world. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? You have a question, Niobe? I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Do you have a question?
Yeah, sorry. Hi, I was on mute. How do you, Stuart, manifest something that you want? I hear a lot of people manifesting. I never really consciously done it. How do you, yes, you yourself, how do you do it? Yes.
Look, Niobe, every day I work in great depth on me. I try to break down the blocks in me, and I've been doing this for a long time. And every day, as these blocks get broken down, things manifest. You know, I mean, Zoom manifested because of that. Now I'm starting to have retreats and in-person classes, and it's all a product of me asking for things to change, for a new way of doing, to teach people in a different way, in a deeper way. So it's just a byproduct of the inner work. I used to do this with, my business. I needed money. I would sit and do exercises and it would bring money. It wouldn't bring money for my personal use. It would bring money, so I could support this enormous spiritual situation I always had on my shoulders. So all of that works because the chakra system gets highly developed and you can truly reach into the cosmos and get these things. And I don't mean for greed, money for the sake of making money, or, this for the sake, relationships for the sake of having a relationship. But I mean, when it really serves your family, your friends, your job, your this, it has a higher purpose than just your own individual need to make a lot of money or to have friends or have a relationship with somebody, And when the time is right, I promise you, it always manifests, always. When you have arrived inside yourself where you can deal with these things in a detached way, in an open way, they send them to you. They've always sent them to me. And for God's sake, they still send them to me. But it's part of getting free of yourself. It's part of going above to a transcendental level. This whole thing of greed and me and my and I and, and opening and let the riches of the universe come through you and manifest in your life as only it can uniquely manifest in your life. There aren't two people here that it can manifest the same way. And then you have to trust. And you truly have to have a commitment to a spiritual life. I spoke about it last week. When you make that kind of commitment, when you taste the energy of God, when it becomes such a deep and real part of your life and your commitment to having a spiritual life, the universe takes care of you. It literally takes care of you. It provides whatever you need to do it. And I mean this, because it's provided for me that way most of my life. I wouldn't say when I was in my teens, I was a little crazy, in early 20s. But, from the time I met Rudy, But the commitment was real, it was deep. I knew what I needed to do and I knew what I wanted in my life. And it wasn't money. I was never interested in money when I was young, never. You know, I would never, I only had to start making money when I found myself in a position running an ashram with 25 people that had to have dinner every night and breakfast every morning. I said, Stuart, you gotta generate money in order to run this situation. Can't go to the grocery store with Shakti and expect them to give you food. And then I learned how to do that. And it's not only running ashrams, it's your family. It's your family. It's the love you have for the people in your life that make you do things unconditionally. Learning how to provide unconditionally. That love will open the heart. It will enable you to embrace the people in your life. It will also enable you to tap that Shakti, that energy in the cosmos that allows these things to happen. I mean, that's how I've done it. I've told you that story. Rudy told me, buy that building, Well, Rudy, I only have $600 in the bank. Anyone could do with money. That's what he answered. And a month later, I bought the building. How the hell I raised that money is really, a question that I constantly ask God. It was provided for me by the universe. And yes, I took out loans. Paid everybody back, took care of the calmer the situation. And there was the building. And the building then had a great restaurant in it, which, eventually built that incredible house we built in Texas. It was, it was really the pressure of the situation that demanded that I learn how to get to God and to be provided with the answers that the universe gives. And then be willing to work my ass off in order to make things work. That's how I did it. I could have gone into, finance and banking and all that stuff and maybe made trillions of dollars. I don't know. But it was never an interest of mine. I had a business in Texas. I would have stayed with that business. I probably would be worth $300 million today if I would have stayed with that business. But I knew I needed something bigger than living in Denton, Texas the rest of my life. So I asked. And then I met Kala Rinpoche in India and I asked him. And he said, you have to move back to New York. Your teachings will be known all over the world if you do that. And then I made that decision. Is somebody coming to class now? And then I made that decision to move back to New York and gave up everything and moved back to New York. Does anyone else have a question you would like to ask? And what was incredible, just to finish, what was incredible about that is that from the day I moved back to New York and I opened this Asian art gallery, business came. I started doing business. It was God providing. And then it went from selling wagon wheels to selling really expensive stuff. But it took a few years for me to evolve and grow in it. And it was all provided. I was running this ashram and it's costing me 15 to 20 grand a month to run the place. I needed money. And money isn't the thing, it's a spiritual life that is the key to all of this. And I'll say it once again, when you taste the energy of God and you make that kind of commitment, the universe will provide for you. When that kind of commitment is real, profound, deep inside you, it'll open up everything you need, to come to classes, to learn, to grow, to come visit your teacher and get teachings and all of that. It opens up. Plus, it allows you to take care of everything in your life. It's like, the Jewish Passover coming up, like Moses waving the wine and the Red Sea parts. And all these people living in slavery go into Jordan to get the promised land, freedom, nirvana. But that's the connection a human being has to have with higher energy. And then it all works. It begins to work. Yeah, there's always obstacles and problems, but in the mainstream, it works. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? And this isn't easy to do. I mean, look, in the last month, my entire teaching has changed. And it's going deeper, it's getting richer, it's getting more profound, and what I'm asking for is for new people to come along with you all that are ready to receive this little teaching. And I've seen a number of people fall away, and I think they have fallen away because they're not ready to receive this kind of teaching. And I truly would love it someday to change where it's all done in person and people, I can do healing and hands-on work with people and help people to truly build that inner life that'll enable them to make the kind of commitment I'm talking about. And it doesn't separate you from your family, from your jobs, where you live, your country. It just makes everything deeper and richer, more sacred. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Flora, dear, try and sit still. You came an hour late, my dear. I don't know if oh yeah, one last thing. I was told by somebody that daylight savings time takes place in Europe and Israel tomorrow. Is that true? In Europe too? I don't know. But please check your clocks because there will be a class on Sunday. And, check that there's a synchronization between my time and your time and that we all attend at the right time.
I forgot.
What?
I forgot the time. It was like 6 o'clock.
Well, it's good to see you, Flora. It's always good to see you.
Thank you. And I'm with you just a moment, but I get reaction. Very strong reaction.
If there are no more questions, then there'll be a class on Sunday. And thank you. God bless you all for being here, for being involved in this. I can't tell you how I'm grateful for it to open my computer and you're all here and we're doing this kind of work. So hopefully I'll see you all on Sunday. you know, thank you. And
But Stuart, in Sunday, is the same clock?
It's the same time here, but your time is going to be different.
Again? Okay.
It's the same time in where I live, but your time is going to be different because the clocks are changing.
Okay.
Okay? All right. Bye.
Thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome.
Thank you.